So, V, today we're making an upside down lemon and maple and vanilla pudding.
Yes, we are indeed.
However, I feel like we need to clear up what a pudding means. Okay, because I always thought that pudding meant like a warm dessert that's kind of steamed.
Yeah.
But then when I lived in New York and you lived in New York, pudding meant something completely different, right?
Yeah. Growing up in the UK, pudding is what you refer to. Like when I was at school, you know, you have your lunch, you have your dinner, and then it's like, oh, what's for pudding? That's kind of, so it can mean that, but it can also mean, again, here in the UK, a pudding is like generally kind of like a steamed sponge, traditionally.
Which is what this is.
Which is this, this is kind of a version of that. So it's denser, it's done in a bain-marie or over a steam bath.
And in the States, a pudding is like a custardy.
It's like a custardy, wobbly thing.
Which is not what this is.
Which is not what this is.
This is a warm English-style pudding. We got a pan here. It's hot, very hot, and we're gonna grill these lemons. We're just gonna kind of char them till they get nice and a bit like, charred basically.
Charred.
And this is gonna be the bottom of our pudding.
Which will be the top.
Which will be the top.
Yep.
Yes. So about a couple of minutes on each side, just to get a bit of color, and then we're gonna put it into our dish. For anyone who's curious, why do we char the lemons?
First and foremost for flavor. You want that kind of charred flavor to sort of give an accent to the pudding, but also actually treating these with heat beforehand releases all those the essential aromas from the zest and stuff, the essential oils, that's the word.
If you can smell the room right now, it kind of smells like a spa.
It's lovely. No, it's just
a spa. Yeah. So let's talk about this setup here.
So what we have here is a roughly 20 by 30 rectangular dish, which we've lined. If you see, so we've lined the sides so there's extra coming over the sides, so that when the pudding is in, we can fold this over to protect it while it's baking in the oven in its water bath. So we've got that. Once the lemons are charred, the lovely Noor is arranging them beautifully. While she does that, I'm gonna split a vanilla pod, which is gonna go sort of decoratively on there as well.
So the cool thing about that is that we're gonna use the beans for the actual sponge. And the pod itself, it's kind of more of like an artful thing that we're doing, that we're just kind of gonna use that pod to put with the lemon. So when you turn it over, you see like beautiful split vanilla pod and all those charred lemon pieces.
Once you scrape your vanilla pod, just put the scraped seeds into the eggs, and then I'll show you how we put the rest together in a bit.
Now all of the lemons are in the pan with the vanilla bean. I've got the maple syrup here that I'm just gonna pour all over that.
Looks so beautiful.
So that creates like a syrupy base that is gonna be the top really. And it's just such a thing of beauty.
And it's just gonna soak into the sponge as it bakes and add flavor and a bit of like gooey ooziness. It's gonna be delicious. This couldn't be easier, so I'm going to start by sifting the plain flour.
And sifting really helps aerate the whole thing, so it's really light and airy when you eat it.
Exactly. And also, you know, you don't know how long flour's been sitting on the shelves. It can be quite compact and cakey.
Exactly.
So this will take care of that.
All right, and then salt, because everything sweet needs a bit of salt.
Yeah, and the baking powder and the salt, exactly. That's it. Get rid of those.
I'll take these for you.
You're too kind. And then some light brown sugar. Butter.
Softened butter. You want to make sure that your butter has been softened at room temperature, so take it out a few hours before. Don't be tempted to stick it in the microwave.
Yeah, because I've done that so many times, and then there's a fine line between between being soft and melting, which will actually significantly change the texture of the cake. Yeah, this is just plain whole milk.
And more maple syrup.
More maple syrup.
We love that maple flavors. I actually made this dessert once for Christmas, and it was just using like winter citrus, and it was such a festive, beautiful dessert to have.
Yep. And then the eggs and the vanilla that we scraped out earlier. And that's it. So it's all gonna get mixed up.
For all the amounts, you can just click on the link below. It'll have all the recipe with all the details on there, so you can have all the exact measurements to make this yourself at home.
So I'm going to mix this for about 2 minutes on like medium-ish speed. I'm going to start slow, and then I'm going to pick up the speed I don't want everything to go flying out.
Yeah.
Believe me, it's happened lots of times.
All right, V,
Okay.
so you have a very pink piping bag.
I do.
What are you going to be doing?
So I'm going to pipe, it's just easier so that you don't disturb the beautiful lemon slices that Noor has so expertly arranged. It would be a shame to just like dollop it on and try and smear it on. So we're just going to take the easy way and use a piping bag. There are ever so slightly small lumps of butter, but I've been assured by Noor that it's A-okay.
Tested it a few times.
So I'm just going to pour this in.
That's excellent pouring.
It is. Snip
V,
me.
snip you.
Snip me.
I'm gonna give you like an inch, maybe an inch and a half of openness.
So I'm literally, this isn't, just...
There you go.
Just as evenly. It's much easier with the piping bag, so I do recommend. And don't worry about bits of the syrup going up the sides. It really doesn't matter because it's going to happen during baking anyway. So that's the cake batter in here. I'm just giving it a couple of bangs just to part habit, part because it gets rid of some excess bubbles and just smooths out the surface.
And then we have this whole situation here where we have a larger tin. We're gonna put the baking dish in this tin and we're gonna pour some boiling hot water into this larger tin, and that is going to steam the pudding, and that is basically how we're going to be cooking it.
A bain-marie, what we call a bain-marie, and the reason we do that is this cooks for quite a long time, and we don't want the edges to become dry. So by baking it in a bain-marie just protects the sides. It just gives more moisture.
And that is that amazing pudding texture.
Exactly,
That
that kind of like steamed pudding.
Right.
Yeah. So these are the sides that we cut longer at the beginning. So this is why we're going to fold them over just to protect like you would in an ordinary steamed pudding. You always cover first with paper and then foil. Okay, so that's good enough. And then I'm gonna cover this with foil. Foil annoys me. Does it annoy you? Like when it doesn't go? Or when you tear it, like right at the end when you think you've got it and then you get a hole? Okay, so that's, I think, as snug as we're gonna get it. You want it as tight as possible because when you pour the water, you don't want it to go sort of up and into the cake mixture. We're gonna be very careful, so it's gonna be fine.
Great, so I've got a liter of boiling water. It might be more or less depending on how big your tin is, but you want it to come up about 3 centimeters up the sides. I think that's about good enough. Yeah. Now we're gonna put it into preheated oven.
Actually, do you want to get the door for me while I...
Absolutely.
Nice and careful. And there it will stay for about 70 minutes. Good night. Good.
So, Verena.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what you do at the Test Kitchen. You're head of product development?
Product development, yep. So I develop our bag products that we sell in our shops and on our website, primarily sweet things.
All the cookies.
All the cookies
all the
and
biscuits,
the brittles and all that kind of stuff.
all the good stuff.
And I do delve into sort of savoury as well, more and more so.
She dabbles.
As of late, I dabble.
So she's in charge of keeping us all very healthy.
Exactly, I'm afraid.
Giving us all the treats.
Yes.
And all the cookie jars.
I'm the chocolate lady.
And yeah, we're very happy to have her. Verena, I believe the pudding is ready.
So I'm going to carefully take this out of the oven because it's got, hot water from the bottom, and it is actually quite a heavy beast. So just take that over here. So if you look here, ta-da!
It's like unwrapping a gift.
And it's kind of dense, but in a good way, because you've covered it with paper and then with foil, so it can only rise so much. And that's actually exactly what you want. And then you get this sort of, it's hard to explain, like a coarse texture, but not.
Yeah.
It's very comforting. It's very...
Amazing.
Beautiful.
So I think we should probably remove it from the water. What do you think?
We should.
There we go. Good. Place.
And then carefully, again, be careful, this is very steamy.
While that is just
doing its thing
right there, I'm gonna make the lemon maple butter that goes on top. So really exactly what it is, 3 ingredients, maple syrup, lemon juice, and we're just gonna put that on a medium-high heat and let it cook for about 2 minutes. Oh, so the lemon and maple syrup is now simmering. So I am going to turn the heat down to low because you don't want it to be simmering so much when you're adding the butter, because the butter will split, your sauce will split, and it will be a really sad situation. My lemon maple butter is done. I slowly added the butter a little bit at a time until it was nice and emulsified on a really, really low heat. Once you've added all the butter, you should take it off the heat right away. The sauce will have thickened. It's almost like a maple syrupy consistency, I'd say.
Yeah,
a little bit
tiny bit thicker. Yeah.
Tiny bit thicker. You don't want to do this until your pudding is ready to serve. It took me literally like what, 3-4 minutes. So. You do it the last thing, and then you pour this really nice, warm, buttery goodness onto the pudding.
Now that the sauce is ready, we're going to invert this. So we're inverting it into this sort of rustic tin. But whatever you have, a nice serving platter. And you just need to be bold as brass about this, I think. No fanning around. So I'm just going to... you ready?
Yeah, do it.
1,
Flip it.
2, 3. Your heart stops there for a second, and then peel back the paper and look at that.
Wow.
You get to see that beautiful pattern of the lemons that we put in earlier. The smell, by the way, is just ridiculous.
It's just like every time we make this, it still doesn't fail to amaze me. It's one of those things. It's like a ta-da, showstopper moment.
Wow. Yum.
Yum.
And then
the piece de resistance is the lemon maple butter. And then you just close your eyes, don't even think about it, just do the thing.
Try and go underneath, but we won't.
We won't do that. No,
but I can go like that.
You just get your fingers out of my pudding. Oh dear.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, you stop it. No. Verena.
Shall we share?
I think it's time. Shall I do the honors?
You're always so polite. I would have just gone straight in, but...
Oh, I was thinking, just put it in this nice thing here for you.
Aww.
Do you or do you not want the sauce? I feel, no? Yes?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Oh, thanks. Really? I'm going to start before you.
All right, well, fine then.
Because you're taking too long.
Okay. It's all right.
It gets you here. It's just really mouth-puckering.
If you love lemons, you're definitely gonna love this pudding because it's quite sharp, but it's also sweet. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode of this upside down lemon pudding. Please make sure you like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the Food52 channel or our OTK channel so that you don't miss any videos. And next week,
we are making aubergine pasta with tahini.
It's vegan and smoky and creamy, and it's really, really delicious on our OTK channel. So make sure you tune in and watch it.
And then make this.
And make this.
You can go now.
Yeah.
We're gonna finish this off. We're gonna take care of it.